What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Hope you're having a good day so far. So you currently join me at my desk again because I'm going to be talking about quite an interesting topic, but it's also very niche as well. I've understood recently that a lot of the videos on my channels recently have been very niche topics, but I believe these niche topics are actually quite crucial to understand because it really helps you as a trader, which is what my content is primarily focused on, which is to help someone like my younger self and other people who are currently experiencing the same sort of problems. But one of the things which is crucial in becoming a good trader is to do a lot of reflection and inner work, self-reflection, self-analyzing yourself. And so this is what I'm going to be talking about this, which is attachment styles and how they influence your trading. So, as I said, this is a very niche topic, but I plan to just quickly go through this because I know this is a topic that a lot of people may find boring straight away. So I'm going to just dive straight into this. So what are attachment styles? So in psychology, attachment styles describe how you maintain bonds and relationships. They're shaped in early experiences by caregivers. So essentially, when you're a baby, literally from a very young age, as soon as you're born, this is when you're most absorbent as a human. This is when you learn the most things. When you're young, you're like a sponge. You absorb everything. And so your caregivers, like your parents or a foster carer or whoever, a guardian, whoever was there for you from a very young age and looking after you as a very small child, how they interact with you does play a part into your behaviors and your choices as you get older, the way you make decisions and how you think. So these styles of interactions affect behavior and therefore your decisions taken, as I just said. There's four main attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. So I'm going to try my best to go through these types and talk about how they influence our trading decisions, our decision-making skills as an adult, which then also filters into trading. So the first one, secure attachment. Essentially, just to highlight that this attachment style is basically the only positive one out of all of these attachment styles, because realistically, no one is 100% any of these attachment styles. Before I actually carry on, I just wanted to mention that a lot of these attachment styles, no one falls into 100% of one category. So this is one thing that I just want to mention, because I don't want anyone to really categorize themselves by either one or the other, because most likely you're a mixture of some of them, if not even all of them, because how you were looked after as a child was a very scattered, sporadic approach. You had different interactions from different kinds of these styles, of these interactions. So, secure attachment style develops from a consistent responsive caregiver during childhood. The child's needs for comfort and security were reliably met. And how this affects your characteristics as an adult is that it means you're more independent, you can trust others, you can easily seek support when needed, and you're less negatively reactive. And how this corresponds over to trading is that you're less likely to overreact to market fluctuations. So this is quite key, because as we know, market fluctuations, floating P&L, these are all things which do have an effect on us as humans. And if we really wanted to dig for the true answer as to why this is the case, it comes from this, the underlying reason as to why we react like this as humans. You're open to learning from mistakes, and you dwell less on losing. Both of these things, very crucial when it comes to trading. So the next one, anxious attachment. So this one develops from inconsistent caregiving, where the child's needs were sometimes met, leading to uncertainty and anxiety. So Sometimes your carer may have just not been there for you all the time. Sometimes they'd not answer your needs every single time. As a child, we're very vulnerable, so we need our needs to be met 100% of the time in the most idealistic situation. But because of how modern times are, how modern society is, it kind of affects how we have a relationship with our children. Because let's say, for example, I was in a big city, for example. So this happened to me. I'll give you a personal story actually. So when I was a very young child, I actually wasn't. When I was born, I'm actually the youngest one in my family. So when I was born, in my early years, I was given to a guardian, they're called childminders here in the UK. So I was being minded by a guardian whilst my parents were working, because my mum was not able to get the maternity because she's already had 2 children before. This is just how it works in the UK. So she wasn't able to get the maternity, and so I had to be given to a carer, a guardian. And so me not being there by my parents all the time, it can really affect how your development is, how your brain develops as a child. Because as I said, your mind and how you think is very much influenced by how you interacted when you were younger. As I was a child, I probably most likely had different kinds of interactions. I probably had very scattered approaches because my parents probably had one way of looking after me as a child, but whereas my childminder, my guardian, probably had a different approach into how to look after me as a child. So these things do really play a part into how you are as you eventually grow up. So adult characteristics: you may be perceived as clingy or overly dependent. You may seek high levels of approval from others, and you may worry about being abandoned. And this is just what happens when you're not really... You get kind of scared, basically, is pretty much that in summary. You get scared, and so you start to worry a bit more. You feel a bit more anxious because your needs weren't constantly met all the time. So it might lead you to doing, in trading, having uncertainty, feel a strong need for reassurance. So I put in brackets, following the crowd, right? The reason why I put that is because these sort of people is probably what you find in like big Telegram groups, joining Telegrams, Discord communities, looking at mentors or gurus on YouTube, for example, on the internet, who have a big following. So when you see that someone has a big following, it probably means that they probably know their shit, basically. But as we know, it's not always the case. It can lead to overthinking, constantly second-guessing decisions. This is something that I went through as well. It's very true. It can lead to overtrading. And you might hold on to losing trades for too long, hoping for a reversal, exit winning trades prematurely out of fear of loss. Very much can be the case for a lot of traders who feel anxious in their thinking and decision making. So the next one is avoidant. So this one is probably the most dangerous one, because essentially caregivers who are emotionally unavailable or unresponsive, leading to the child becoming self-reliant and emotionally distant. Now, this is a problem, right? Because as an adult, you value independence, self-sufficiency, avoiding close emotional connections, and they may also feel uncomfortable and reluctant to depend on others. These sort of characteristics, when they eventually translate into your trading, it can become quite bad, right? Because especially if you're someone who's new and you don't know what you're doing, you being self-reliant and not taking things and not having trust can be a big issue, because you can be undermining your essential growth stages and development as a developing trader. So in trading, how this affects your trading is seeking help is a problem, right? You struggle to trust advice, and I put in brackets from mentors / opinions, because what I mean by that is you don't take you find it very hard to take people's word for what they say. because as a child, you never had someone there for you all the time, emotionally. So you had to learn to be more self-sufficient. It's a very bad thing that's developed in modern society, where people think it's such a Western thing, because people nowadays think that when your child's crying, just let them cry and they'll learn to get used to it or to stop crying. But it's actually quite damaging for them as a child. And eventually, when this flows on to how they are as an adult, they can become very hostile and very unwilling to take things on board, if that makes sense. So seeking help is a problem. They struggle to trust advice from mentors and opinions. So they don't take people's word for it. When they hear advice, when they hear constructive criticism, for example, on their trading, they don't take it on board. They're very hostile to it, and they're not really willing to accept it first time. So it makes them develop a rigid character, become very ignorant to teachings, and they're very quick to dismiss a trading strategy and may strategy hop, things which are very, very common in today's world. People strategy hopping, not giving things a chance, not giving things enough time for it to work, which is a shame, because there may be a strategy, or there may be a way of thinking about the markets, a way of approaching the markets, which may actually suit the person very well. But because it never worked for them first time, because, as I said, nowadays in today's society, low attention span, people want things done quickly, people can tend to strategy hop because they lose interest in it, because they're not seeing results straight away. And so the last one is disorganized. So this one is it's kind of a mixture of anxious and avoidant. So it stems from traumatic and unpredictable caregiving. Caregiver was a source of both comfort and fear. And so how this works as adult characteristics, they may experience a mix of anxious and avoidant behaviors. They often experience internal conflict. And so how this translates into trading is they want to succeed but keep doubting themselves. They have inconsistent behavior in their trading driven by conflicting emotions, and they have difficulty sticking to a strategy, which causes doubt. So the doubt causing desire, I don't know why I wrote that. The desire is causing doubt to strategy hop. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the doubt, I wrote it correctly. The doubt is causing desire to strategy hop. So yeah, having doubt, letting doubt come in, is essentially giving yourself the excuse to want to try something else because it's not working. So, why do you care? Why do you care what attachment style you are? Well, understanding your attachment style can help you identify emotional triggers that affect your trading. So, by acknowledging these tendencies, you can work towards emotionless trading. Now, everyone says emotionless trading is not a thing. You can't be 100% stoic as a person because we're not perfect. We are humans and we make mistakes. Yes, that's very true. But because we can never be perfect, it means it's always an ongoing thing. We can always keep striving and working towards being more stoic as a person. And so the first step really to be able to work on becoming emotionless in your trading and becoming more structured and organized and systematic is by actually looking in yourself and understanding that you are the cause and everything around you is the effect. Now, you may see this online where people say that everything around you, your current situation, your job, your current lifestyle, is all a reflection of the amount of hard work or the amount of work that you've put in. So if you're someone who's not in good shape, probably fat, overweight, addicted to drugs, alcohol, and don't really leave the house, then it really shows a lot. And not only does your surroundings become an effect of that and a reflection, it's also showing in your own body. Your mind is the cause, and everything around it, including your own body and how you look, is the effect. So do the inner work first. This is what the point is. Do the inner work. That's the first step. There are ways that you can be able to overcome and improve on your tendencies that you have from your attachment style. Now, as I said before, these attachment styles, you're not most likely you're not one or the other. You're most likely a mixture of these attachment styles. You may have some secure tendencies, but you also may have some anxious tendencies as well. That's something like me, for example. So in order to really overcome these things, you need to first develop a solid trading plan and stick to it, because consistency is key. Practice emotional regulation through mindfulness and journaling. Seek feedback and mentorship to counterbalance your natural tendencies, and regularly review your trades to learn from mistakes and successions. I don't know why I put successes. So yeah, all of these things will eventually come together, and eventually these things will become second nature, and your tendencies, your natural urges as a person from your attachment styles and how you think, how you are raised, you'll learn to be able to consciously just put them to the side and just ignore them. So just to conclude, understanding your attachment style or styles could be the key to unlocking your full potential as a trader. So what we need to do is to self-analyze. Once we understand what's wrong with us, we then can begin repairing, building a good foundation for ourselves. Having a good foundation means that any of these conflicting urges which enter your mind and come in, there'll be your foundation as a person will be able to resist them. So that's the aim here. And so once you do that, you repair, and then you can then start to build on this. You consciously recognize in the moment and actively choose the correct decision. I've spoken a lot about consciousness in general in life and in trading, and again, consciousness, very important. So I hope you guys can see how all these videos are really coming together and blend and make sense. And so with this consciousness, you can then make your decision making systematic and not have a emotionally driven discretional decision making. And as a result, you become the ATM machine. So essentially, as I've spoken about before, about automating your trading, if you haven't seen that video, I'd highly recommend it. So I'll leave a pop-up in the corner. But systemizing your trading, that's essentially what this is. When you ignore the urges and you're able to bat them away because you have a strong foundation and you've built on yourself as a human, you then start to just take the correct decision by second nature. And that's essentially how you want to be as a trader. This is how you become emotionless. This is how you become stoic, being able to resist your typical tendencies and urges. So that just about wraps up this video. I know it's been a bit of a long one, but I think this is one really important video that I think a lot of people need to understand, because it's something about inner work, which is one of the crucial stages that someone needs to go through in order to understand themselves and therefore become a profitable trader. So that just about wraps up everything for this video. Hope you guys found it interesting, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you guys if you've watched this far. Stay happy, stay blessed. Thanks for watching.